Right. Now there's one, before we finish, there's one thing that really interests me at the moment, and that is breakout rooms. You know, we train as teachers and we spend time looking at classroom management, and we discuss all kinds of things to do with the way that we arrange the desks, the way we use the board, the way we give feedback, you know, like all these different things. And I've observed in the last 3 weeks that there are certain techniques and an approach to breakout rooms which are actually very different from being in a face-to-face classroom, but I think actually offer a lot of interesting advantages, you know, compared to a face-to-face situation. But first of all, can we do what we did just, and now with the 4 of you, you know, not just the 3, but you as well, Sabina, yeah? Could all of you just, again, no more than about 90 seconds, if you could just describe your feelings and your experience, in Sabina's lesson just, what was it like? How did you feel about the breakout rooms, you know, like anything to say at all, you know, like positive, negative, whatever, you know. But if everybody could speak now for about 1.5 minutes on your experience of the breakout rooms in Sabina's lesson.
Including me, right? Because I was also
including you.
Maybe I can start. I was with Ali and Lilias. So what I like about these breakout rooms, usually in the classroom, the groups are also distracted by the noise from other groups. Whereas in breakout room, like if there are 3, 4 people, like you said, you can see all the people. You don't get distractions from other groups. And you get to cheat a little bit because we also talked about surfing as well. So I think students like that too. I think it's fair. If they are doing everything online, at least they can have a minute to talk about what they, I don't know, saw new online. If the teacher is not there, I think that's also good. They can have some time also, not just to discuss about the task, but also like, I don't know, something else that they like, that interests them. That's it.
At first, as a student, as a teacher, I know how to be in a breakout room. But as a student today, at first, I said, I was worried. Oh, like in the darkness. I was also very interested in, new people, new acquaintances, new ideas. And I felt comfortable. Then I saw Oksana from Ukraine. Oh, Oksana, that's great, from Ukraine. I know Oksana, and so 2 new people. Okay, that's great. I love it, and students love using breakout rooms.
As for me, I also liked, because when we are all together, sometimes I feel shy to present my point of view. I can type. It's very good that there is chat room. That's great. And in breakout rooms, you feel closer, you feel more comfortable. I also appreciate this kind of Zoom, this option of the Zoom, and I liked. You feel more comfortable, you can express your ideas like easier for me. Breakout rooms.
Okay, so Ludmila, you have pretty much summarized what I wanted to say. So I feel more comfortable. I'm shy as well, so I don't always like to speak up when we are in plenary. Can we call it like this, Mark? I don't know. Okay, so I think it's better. And today it was the first time that I have met Dimitri in a breakout room, and Oksana as well. So it was nice to make new acquaintances and exchange some ideas. And I have been in breakout rooms with Anne now for several times, and we have even started to exchange ideas on other topics as well, Mark. So again, we did a bit of cheating, but
Can I?
it was related to the topic anyway.
Can I pick up on the word cheating? Because two of you have mentioned the word cheating, and maybe rename what you've described as cheating.
It wasn't exactly cheating. Sorry.
More socializing.
Yeah, yeah. Can we kind of, maybe you could do this? Could you try and rename? Try and, instead of using the word cheating, to
Catching up.
What?
On catching up on daily life.
That's very good. Yes, catching up on. That's a very good phrasal verb as well to teach. Catching up on everyday life. Yeah, and you know, you talked about other things. Yeah. Now, if we want to create a communicative classroom, then if students are talking and talking about things that they're interested in talking about, and you find yourself in a breakout room and you feel comfortable, then isn't it fine? You know, if a teacher, you know, the teacher might drop in, as I did, to the breakout room now and again, or the teacher might decide not to go into the breakout room at all and might tell the students, I'm actually not coming into the breakout room at all. Then aren't there certain advantages of this that you know, as you said, Ludmilla, like people feel comfortable. You know, you've all of you said that there's something about being in the breakout room that is comfortable. You know, now where does that, you know, I can explore that a little bit further, or where does that feeling comfortable come from that maybe you don't feel the same as when you're in a face-to-face classroom?
Depends on the number of students. Because how many students do you usually have in your classrooms?
30.
30, oh, the same, 27. But this year, because of confinement, we have how much? 15, 16, like this. And when there are too many people, it's not like
Harder to manage, yeah.
Yeah.
Just what have you got when you're working in a group in a face-to-face classroom that you don't have in a breakout room?
Mm-hmm.
I would say complete privacy, because we are just 3 or 4 of us. Nobody's dropping by to say something, or, you know, no other distractions from around us.
And isn't that wonderful, actually, that you have that privacy there, you know, and and that there's no noise?
Mm-hmm.
Mark, I love noise. I love face-to-face teaching, because now using Zoom, it's amazing, but I feel we are connected and we are disconnected at the same time. I can't explain it how I feel. Technologies, that's great, but we lose lots of things, you understand, all these feelings, emotions, what else? Privacy, we need privacy, but we also need all these amazing mess in a classroom, activity, different teams, students are around.
But Dimitri, if you're trying to get students to work in a group and to really focus on what each other are saying, like now, I can see into all of your eyes. I can see 10 eyes, including my own eyes, you know, which you never ever see in a classroom, which is also a kind of different dynamic when you can observe yourself at the same time as when you're observing other people. And some people find this a bit a bit difficult.
I see. Sorry, I see. Of course, it's easier to observe 4 people when you are observing 30 or 40 at the same time.
Well, I'm not now talking about the teacher from a teacher's perspective, but from a student's perspective, that a student in a breakout room, it can focus very easily on the other people in the group in a more intimate and private way than a student can if they're in a group of 20 or 25 with a teacher there, plus all the other students who are making a noise, plus any other noise that's going on from traffic outside, yeah? Or if there's an issue to do with the temperature, like if it's too hot or too cold, and, if you're in the comfort of your own home, in a small private group.
Mark, I agree. I'd like to tell you that even my students, sometimes my students, they work in a breakout rooms and they ask me, oh, Dmitry, please, I want to work with Oksana. I want to work with Nikolai. I want to work with Andrei, not with Max. They organized their own small communities in breakout rooms. That's great.
Yeah, and I mean, and you can talk about this as well, yes. Can't you? About how would you like the teacher to, how would they like their teacher to put them into breakout rooms, and how you sometimes do it differently. Like I've actually, when I do lessons, I often, traveling around Central Eastern Europe, I'll ask people to create groups where there are boys and girls in the group.
But Mark, sometimes students, Ukrainian students, they use Ukrainian or Russian in breakout room, not English, but only sometimes, not often.
Well, these are things that you can talk about anyway, and this applies to both face-to-face and in a breakout room, about the role of the usefulness of using English in the breakout rooms. But I kind of have noticed that maybe on Zoom in breakout rooms, the conditions are better for people to feel, as you've already mentioned, about the idea that you feel more comfortable. Or
yes, I agree. Especially first year students, they don't know each other. Let's imagine in Ukraine only 2 days. Only 2 days offline at the university and then a break. Students who came from school, people, they want to work at the university, and this amazing Zoom. Okay.
How, if you compare the way that you put people into groups when you're face-to-face, with the way that you put people into groups in Zoom, and the way that you feel about when those kind of few seconds when you're going into the breakout room, like what are the differences?
Mark, I don't know why, but sometimes when I get into breakout room, I feel like I am on the depths, very deep. Like at the bottom of the ocean or of the sea or in the darkness, only those 2, 3 or 4 seconds.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because you know what? This morning, Catherine wrote, I sent that email to you all last night, and Catherine replied, because I was asking about what is it about the way that this course is developing that's created this kind of feeling comfortable. And one of the things she talked about was this kind of feeling with the breakout rooms, and that there's a certain element of kind of, who you're going to be in those few seconds that you've just described when you're waiting, and then suddenly someone else comes in, and then somebody else comes in, and there's a certain kind of excitement about this, or anticipation, and who is it going to be? Yeah, that compared to when you put people in groups in a class or move people around, it's a bit clumsier, isn't it?
Mark, I also oh, sorry. I also feel excited because I know that great teachers around me, teachers from different countries, new ideas, sharing ideas. Of course, it's amazing. I feel all this happiness you try to give us, you try to show.
Yeah.
Not only English, not only English.
Well, that's nice, you know, and I think that is going on this course, like a lot, the sharing, the collaboration. I mean, basically, you know, as well, Sabina, we were team teaching, weren't we? Just what we were doing, you know, you handed me the technology, and I kind of dealt with that with the breakout rooms. You know, you were doing the content, and you were deciding on the pace of the lesson and what we do. But this feeling, the breakout room, you know, and Catherine saying that there was an element to it where you don't quite know who you're going to be with, you know, and she was saying that often at Sol in Devon, you know, you have to move things around, and there's bags and involved, and you know, it's kind of quite complex. Whereas it's so simple, you know, in this, you know, you just have to, like, boom, 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 and that's it, and it's really time saving, you know. But the
assuming that nobody has connections problem.
That's right.
Sometimes that can be a problem.
Of course. But you know what I was thinking about this morning when I read Catherine's email? Alice in Wonderland, you know, and I was thinking about Alice disappearing down the rabbit hole, you know, disappearing down the white rabbit hole, and entering Wonderland, you know, like. And somehow I kind of feel that what's going on with this zoo is you actually, Dimitri, what you described, those 3 seconds of being at the bottom of the sea, you know, that kind of maybe.
I understand. I would like to, okay.
It's maybe what Alice felt.
Yes, I'd like to.
When she went down the rabbit hole, and then suddenly this kind of exciting, magical world appeared, yeah, which is your Zoom breakout room.
Mark, I'd like to tell you that after breakout room discussion, I'd like to come back to the whole hour, to the great discussion, to bigger discussion, and I feel happier. Of course, I felt very happy with Anka, with Oksana, and other teachers, but I'm waiting to come back also, to share ideas, to bring ideas, work out very quickly, and to come back.
And isn't that a fabulous feeling that you?
Yes, it's
fabulous. Basically, what's happening here in this month is I'm trying to model a communicative classroom, the strong form of communicative language learning. And I am in the role of the teacher for 30 days. And you are in the role of students, you know? And I'm trying to create with all of these different, keeping the rooms open before and after, you know, having all these social activities, you know, with the yoga and the quizzes and the singing and using the Facebook group as a cafe, and the emails, the daily email. I really enjoy sitting down, usually around about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and compose an email to you.
Mark, I could even imagine. I could even imagine what you do offline, not online. Online, it's only a part.
Well, this is my job. You know, I'm working, you know, like this is my job. I've been furloughed for 7 months, you know, like not being able to work for Sol because I've been in this furloughed position, and I was unfurloughed, which means that Sol got money from the government, you know, to help Sol. But the condition was that that some people couldn't work, yeah. And so now I'm back in that position. So I'm 100% focused on this course, you know. So this is my job, you know. But what I'm saying is that you know, to come back to what I was saying before, the email, you know, is also has this function of making you feel comfortable, you know, rather than me just sending a link. Here is the link for tonight, you know. Here is the link for tomorrow, in a very dry, impersonal kind of way, yeah, that that what I try to do is to write it in a nice, welcoming, that the email is also about building relationships. It's not just about transfer of information. And when we're teaching our students to speak English, we're teaching them not just like information or about language, we're teaching them how to communicate effectively and nicely, you know, and so that these are aspects of what good language teaching and learning is, I think, you know. So this kind of, you know, back to this Alice in Wonderland thing with the breakout room, I actually think that there will be a kind of good, deep article written or book on Zoom classroom management, you know, which is different from a book that we would read, you know, like what's in Jeremy Harmer or Jim Scrivener or Penny or, you know, all these things that we read and learn about how to manage classrooms, that now there's added things which are very, very interesting, that maybe teachers can be trained in using Zoom to maximize learning opportunities for students.
Of course, it's a great idea, but who will do it?
Well, I think this will be talked about a lot now. And I think people now at conferences, at these online conferences, you know, everyone is talking about online learning, you know, like that. And part of the reason for doing this course is to give people an opportunity, like Sabina, who I know has been doing great work for months, and to share their experiences. And the reason why I wanted to invite Sabina, because I know Sabina, that she could contribute something great to this course. And, you know, it's a Sunday lunchtime. You know, Sabina was saying she didn't know whether anyone was going to come. You know, like we had 22 people there. And now, you know, it was just like 20 minutes before your session, I thought, let's see if Lisa is online, you know. Now, we couldn't have done any of this before, could we? You know, like you just kind of spontaneously think, oh, here's somebody who's been doing online courses for Rello on teaching back a few months ago. Lisa did was it a 1-week course? Did you go to it, Sabina?
Yes, it was 1-week course, but I didn't go to
You didn't go to it,
because I have to tell to Lyudmila, Dmitry, and Anka that I teach from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's why it's very difficult for me to attend. It's difficult to find replacement teachers as well at this time. And that's why I haven't been able to attend a lot of, but I hope that next week I will find at least some time to, and that's why I didn't go to attend Lisa's, but yeah, but Lisa is really amazing as a presenter. And yeah, she did, she was part of 1-week online course.
You know, and it was lovely to be able to just, you know, type in a few words on a laptop and suddenly you magic somebody out of Austria into your lesson, you know. I just try, you know, like if you'd thought of this, like me growing up, that we'd be doing this, you know, it would be science fiction, you know, nobody could imagine that anything like this could happen. And so what I'm quite interested in is how you, as a teacher trainer now, how you actually help and support teachers who are already teaching to feel more comfortable with doing these things, you know? And then so to talk about the things that we're talking about now, help people with the ability to do it, you know? And with people who are training to be teachers now, that this becomes part of your methodology classes, you know, what you learn about, and to do what we're doing now, basically. So finally, just a roundup now. Just if everyone just says something about the experience that we've had of the lesson and now the post-lesson discussion, you know, what we've done now. Again, in any order, just think about what we experienced during the lesson, what you've experienced now in this feedback session, and just say anything about it, about what you've learned from it, you know, or if it's contributed anything to your own development as a teacher. Because the point of doing these teacher development courses is that you actually learn new things and try new things out, you know. So if just each person could say something.
Mark, I really enjoy all these discussions, and I think I've already told you, I don't want to repeat myself in an email. This focus on communicative activity is very important for me, and creating those opportunities for students to express themselves. I teach in a school which is very strict. Students are interested in taking their exams, Cambridge exams, and sometimes we need to work on this test, and I feel that I can't take it anymore. So this is part of the curriculum in our school, so we have to prepare them. And it was that interesting discussion Saturday about, I feel that we lose a lot of, I don't know, creativity, and some students may even lose their interest in the lessons because of that. So what I'm trying to do now is to use this experience and always come up with activities to complement what we do there, to involve them more, and even starting from some grammar exercises to develop something in which they get involved. And I really appreciate what Sabina did today. It was very inspiring, and what has been presented here during this course, this whole experience. And thank you again to Sabina, to Mark. And I think that I've had this opportunity to meet people from different countries and with different experiences, and I can learn from each of you. And I really appreciate this. Okay, thank you.
Mark, I'd like to tell you and everybody that I visited, not often of course, but some courses, sessions organized by British Council and America House and some others. And the most useful for me today, I see that after session, after webinar discussions, they are great. They are much more useful even than the whole discussion before. I love it. That's great. Thanks a lot. Because we can describe, we can analyze, we can relate, Sabina. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
As for me, I also visited a lot of, maybe not a lot, but pretty well, different seminars organized here in Ukraine by our, for example, teachers. And it is like kind of theoretical. You know, they are discussing something, how to use this one or this one, but nothing practical. And yes, in this training course, I took a lot of information, even like language, some language, some vocabulary, new vocabulary for me, because I say that learning language, it's always like, it's ongoing process. You cannot say, I know language perfectly. It is always like, it's always updating, yeah? For me, it's like, first of all, for my language and also for methodology. And as we are teachers, mainly Oksana and Dima, we are teaching students, IT students, and we give them professional English. So it is a little bit limited and like, yes, Dima, it is limited.
Yes.
We have to study some topics, and we don't, maybe even fourth year students, they have like not compulsory English, but they can choose whether to study or not. And they sometimes don't want to choose because they say, I know this technical English, these terms, I know the vocabulary. Why should I visit English class? Because we don't have this possibility to develop them like personalities. Maybe it's up to each teacher. Okay, so who uses his or her own methodology, but in general we are limited. And as for this training, we learned a lot, and we can try to use all these all these things we can use at our lessons. I will try to use as quick as possible, starting from the next week. Thank you very much.
I can totally relate to what you're saying, because students here are also so much forced by the curriculum, and very often I feel like an idiot saying to my students, repeat after me, speak, spoke, spoken, break, broke, broken. And because I know that they're going to have a test at school where they will have this, and the parents who pay money for my students to get to go on a course, they expect students to have good grades. So I try to keep the balance, to keep my lessons balanced. Sometimes I just tell them, okay, we must do this grammar part because otherwise you will have bad grades. Or I speak to them, okay, you need this because if you want to look polite, to sound polite in Britain, you have to learn this word elderly. So I try to, negotiate with my students, and then I sometimes just give them a lesson which is a treat to them, because I try something completely new, and for them it's something completely new, and it's for me something new. So everybody, it's a like win-win situation. I respect the curriculum and I know I have to follow it, but every once in a while I say, okay, let's do this, let's do something different. And then they appreciate it, because they also feel like humans more, not just like robots who need to learn this. And thank you so much for your feedback. And yeah, I like, it's different when I get, a sentence, it was great, than getting, real feedback from real people. And I'm also happy to meet all three of you. Like
I'd like to say now,
said, new friends, new acquaintances, and I think that's also an amazing part of the course.
Can we end up in each of our languages by saying, thank you very much and bye-bye, and have a nice day in all your languages.
Hvala mnogo, doviđenja, uživajte u danu.
Дуже дякую, до зустрічі.
Да.
Mulțumesc, o zi bună.
Раді були зустрічі.
Everyone give a wave.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.